Alright, in this one we're going to take a look at how to add different objects to our scene. Because right now we have a default cube and that's great and all, but what if we want to add different shapes? Well, we could hit the X key and that will delete whatever object we have selected. And then we could hit Shift A and this is the add menu as you can see, and we could add a bunch of different stuff from a camera to a light to other things that we'll take a look at. But right here under mesh, you can see that we have these different what are called primitives or primitive shapes. And we have a plane, cube, circle, a sphere, two different kinds of spheres, a cylinder, a cone, a torus, and a monkey. Let's go ahead and add the monkey. This is called Suzanne, and she's basically Blender's mascot. So this is Suzanne right here. Let's go ahead and move Suzanne out of the way. We could hit Shift A, add in a mesh cylinder. And there we go, we have a cylinder. Just like with the cube, we could scale it up and rotate it and etc. We could hit Shift A, add in a cone. If we hit R, X, 180, rotate the cone 180 degrees. We can move this out of the way. We could then hit Shift A, add a mesh UV sphere. And boom, there we go. We have an ice cream cone now. Pretty sweet. So just like that, you could add different shapes. Of course, you could go into edit mode of these by hitting tab and then changing the actual structure of the different objects right here, as you can see. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that when modeling or when creating shapes, for the most part, everything is a quad or a four-sided face. You can see that all of these, even though it's a ball, is all made up of four-sided faces right here. So you can see that all of these, if I shift click them, are all squares. At the very top, we do have some triangles here, meaning that it only has 3 vertices per face. However, for the most part, you want to always keep everything to a quad or a four-sided face. You can even see here on Suzanne that all of these faces are four-sided. Of course, right here on the eyes, there's an exception where it's a triangle, but the reason you want to keep everything at four-sided faces, four-sided face when modeling, is because this bends easier. It's easier to do what's called UV unwrapping, which we'll take a look at later, but also for animating. The problem with triangles is that they don't bend properly, and so it's a little trickier. So even with organic things such as faces, you want to keep everything four-sided faces. So you want everything to have 4 sides, all the faces. For the most part. Again, there's exceptions, etc. But also what this allows for us to do is when we add loop cuts, it could flow nicely. You can see that if we have something such as a cone right here with triangles, we can't add loop cuts as easily because the triangles kind of terminate it, and it just makes things harder. Whereas something like this, we could easily add loop cuts. But you could see as soon as it reaches the triangle up here that it gets terminated in that direction. Alright, there we go. Now for your assignment, go ahead and create something out of primitive shapes. So hit Shift A, add in whatever you want. You know, you can make a torus and add a donut. But add in whatever shapes you want. Stack them on top of each other if you want. You know, something like that. And go ahead and create something and then upload your final image on blendermania3d.com on the forums, and I'll check it out there. Alright, next video we will be starting the actual course, so I'll see you there. Ciao for now. Au revoir.